I'm going to be pushing this for as much as I can. This Fight the Oligarchy tour. All right. It is a huge distraction. I know it has to deal with AOC and Bernie Sanders, but now MSNBC seems to be having a little change in the tune because they feel that the messaging is wrong. That's not correct. That it's not on point because it's challenging the Democrat Party. Well, see, the thing is, AOC and Bernie Sanders' title for their tour is already hypocrisy because the Democrat Party has good billionaires and they're part of the oligarchy. So in other words, Bernie and AOC, what are you going to do? Because again, huge shout out to Case QB, who's wrongly being censored. Okay. The MSNBC decides to weigh in on whether or not this is a good message and if people can respond to it properly.
What do you think about the term oligarchy? There was all this debate that is the oligarchy message going to take hold because people don't understand what oligarchy is? It's not accessible.
I think you test things by going out and seeing if people respond to them, and there is obviously an enormous response going on right now, right? These are crowds that would be amazing during an election season that are turning out 4 months, 5 months after an election. That is extraordinary. And I think it goes to the fact that people are, whether oligarchy is the right word or not, people are desperate for someone to make sense of what is happening. This cabal of billionaires have taken over the federal government. They're taking a chainsaw to the Constitution. They're taking a chainsaw to services and benefits that we all depend on. They're doing it to line their own pockets. People want someone to make sense of that story, to tell that story, to scream their heads off like it's an emergency. And that is what you are seeing people respond to when they come up to see Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Do you now think that the Democratic leadership is writ large across the board in the House and the Senate at least on board with the fact that we are in a crisis?
I do not think that they are clear that we are in a crisis.
Yes, boring, lovely. I mean, come on. Like this, all what this is laying down the foundation so that once AOC and Bernie Sanders' fantastic tour is done, they're going to be bringing out a whole hodgepodge of boring neoliberal Democrats. Because what progressives wanted, at least before 2020 or before the great reveal of 2021 was forced to vote, they wanted people like Bernie and AOC to lead the way. But since the Democrat Party is a system of corrupt, individuals, and it's very clear that Bernie and AOC don't got that dog in them, we're going to get more of the same neoliberal slop.
Now, I think we have seen some promising signs, right? House Democrats rallied together to collectively vote against the funding bill a couple weeks ago. I think what we saw in the Senate is a demonstration of the fact that Minority Leader Schumer and a decent set of Democrats, let's be real, fundamentally don't believe and don't understand the kind of crisis that we are in and are not prepared to act accordingly.
Leah Greenberg,
Of course, but hold on. It gets better. Sunny from The View, remember her? Says fight the oligarchy class message is wrong because, oh no, you don't want to upset the apple cart.
I'm a little surprised that it's Bernie again. That's really the person that's getting people out of their seats for the first time.
I'm not surprised that it's Bernie. No one's surprised that it's AOC.
No.
But I do think that their message is wrong. Their message is one of classism.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the data again, you look at college-educated voters. They voted overwhelmingly democratically. And so that would lead you to believe that it's class. If you look at the Black community, it's a combination of college-educated African Americans and non-college educated African Americans. Race is an issue for them. And so to just sort of erase diversity, equity, and inclusion from the conversation means that you lose your base. So Bernie.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on there. Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden could not fill up stadiums. Bernie Sanders did, at least the height of his time in the limelight. AOC was able to do the same thing too. No other neoliberal Democrat can. And it was their message, at least at the time, was about class, about Medicare for all. In fact, we're the richest country in the world. We don't have Medicare for all. We have the student debt crisis. We have an opioid crisis. We have a housing crisis. We have an economy that's not fair. We have a crumbling infrastructure. We're in these pointless, needless wars. So you might be safe in your ivory tower, but the rest, it's definitely no bueno.
Bernie's message of class failed miserably. He failed with that message, I think, 2-1 to Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Are you stupid? Because no, he was succeeding. What he did was he cucked out because he's a party loyalist on Super Tuesday when Barack Obama made that phone call to Buttigieg and Klobuchar. They endorsed Biden. That was it. It was it. It was over. And Bernie Sanders didn't fight back harder because I remember before that Super Tuesday, all of MSNBC, corporate media, everyone was afraid of Bernie Sanders beating old senile Joe Biden. You had all the corporate media pundits, everybody sitting high and mighty saying, uh-oh, we're in trouble because Bernie Sanders could win this. I remember that. Bernie Sanders' message was successful. It's just a shame that Bernie Sanders didn't believe in his message to fight against his good friend Joe, his buddy, his pal.
And so that is not the appropriate message, but I think AOC's message, which is more of an answer to Project 2025, which is Medicare for all, Medicaid for all, and a living wage, that kind of thing. If they can put something together, save Social Security, they can put something together like that. And also LGBTQ plus rights. Don't run away from that. Don't run away from diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you can include all of those things that the base is concerned about and just not hinge it on Bernie bros and class issues, I think we can get somewhere.
Oh God, the Bernie bro thing. Hey, congratulations. If you were Black, Latino, Asian, Indian, Native American, Arab, Muslim, Jewish, congratulations. You became a straight white male again. There you go. You did it. You broke that glass ceiling. Hell, ladies, you're involved in it too. The Bernie bros are back. And this is the problem with people like corporate media. And of course, AOC and Bernie doing this whole message. And I know, yes, everyone's out there saying, well, Kyle Kalinski's saying, oh man, if you're against this fight the oligarchy, right? If you're against all of this huge fighting, then you're an enemy. Well, no, I'll tell you what. The reason why I am critical of this tour is because I've seen this before. And then eventually AOC and Bernie are going to be like, oh, well, we got to support the party leadership. Follow the orders. I mean, that's who we got to follow now. That's stupid. It's dumb. It's ignorant. So stop following orders. Stop believing that the party's going to save our rear end because AOC and Bernie are just going to once again sell out. Now, I found this article interesting from the Latin Times. Because, you have this right here, where AOC seeks to broaden her appeal as she starts positioning herself to lead the Democrat Party. Unless I hear her say she's going to take on Chucky Boy, I ain't going to believe anything. Because last I checked, she's not part of any subcommittee of prominence or value. Okay, as Democrats look for future party leadership to guide them in the coming years, they won't. New York Democrat Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is standing out among her peers, trying to broaden her base and looking to draw in liberal voters who feel disenchanted with both parties. AOC, a Bronx Democrat, is commonly known, recently stopped by several Bernie Sanders Fight the Oligarchy tour, included his visit to Denver, which he described as the biggest rally he ever addressed. Yes, 30,000 people attended. The lawmaker argued to the thousands of attendees about the need to reframe the divide in the Democrat Party, not as progressive versus moderate, but as those going after Republican President Donald Trump and those being more cautious. That's such a weak sauce, spineless, nutless answer. But I would expect nonetheless nothing more from Bernie Sanders. No matter who you voted for in the past, no matter if you know all the right words to say, no matter your race, religion, gender, identity, status, Ocasio-Cortez said at a different rally at Arizona State University, no matter even if you disagree with me on a few things, if you're willing to fight for someone you don't know, you are welcome here. Oh, God, my brain. Sanders, one of the few political leaders with the resources to plan large rallies and the appeal to pack them, has stepped into the Democrat leadership vacuum with appearances across the country. As she joined them in several stops in the tour, which target primary Republican towns, Ocasio-Cortez indirectly took jabs at the current state of the Democrat Party, asserting that they are not fighting for the working class. This isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democrat Party that I was almost going to say it, fights harder for us too. AOC said, told the fired up crowd gathered in Las Vegas, Nevada. In fact, I think we have that video. I think we have that video. Don't we have that video? Let me go and pull up that video because I think AOC said something else. I think AOC said something else. I think she did. I think she did. Maybe I'm wrong. But hold on. Internet, I need your help. What did you hear? Sorry, let me go ahead and Stop sharing and reshare again because the audio was not connected. Embarrassing, live on air.
Fights harder. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us together. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us together. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us together.
I swear, she said something else. Maybe I'm getting deaf. But continue by looking at this further. The whole purpose of this article is to hype up AOC as she's going to challenge the leadership, but I don't think she is. If she does actually even give a damn about the party or where the Democrat Party is going to go, she should have been fighting harder from day one, laying down the foundation. I mean, I see her go on corporate media, but will she go on independent media? Will she have a sit-down interview with Brianna Joy Gray? Dare I say it, TYT or Sammy Boy Cedar? How about Jimmy Dore? How about everyone? I mean, you're going to have to reach out to independent media too. I mean, that's the whole thing about fighting the oligarchy, right? And the thing is, I don't think AOC or Bernie Sanders will be able to handle the hot seat of, well, wait a minute, the Democratic Party takes donations from billionaires. Wait a minute, you've fallen in line when the Democratic Party wanted to have these ridiculous corporate neoliberal policies passed. You didn't fight harder. I remember when AOC cried when Nancy Pelosi was yelling at her as she turned her no vote into a present vote. Was the Iron Dome. I remember that. Such bravery. Such bravery. Or where was she for forced to vote? Was she going to fight harder for us then? Probably not. So it's okay to be critical of the Fight the Oligarchy tour. I just find it interesting now that MSNBC is saying that the messaging is wrong. Well, what is the good message? I mean, are Bernie and AOC prepared to fight corporate media? I remember the last two campaigns in 2016 and 2020. And man, looking back at it now, Bernie Sanders didn't want to shake the boat. He didn't want to knock over the apple cart. He didn't want to cause a ruckus because he was trying to be friendly with corporate media. Good luck, Democrats, because your brand sucks.